Hello, everyone.
Hello, Tom. Boy, it's good to see you today. What time is it though?
Oh, Kathy, I think it's time to transcend.
Yay! It's always a pleasure to have conversations with Tom, and I'm looking forward to everyone else being able to join us today.
That's for sure. So if anybody's joining us, please, you know, write a welcome, send us a comment, let us know you're here. Um, so anyway, we are here today on our first show together, and Kathy and I have been friends for probably about a year now. And we found each other as things happen in life. You find each other, and uh, through a lot of common things. So today we just wanted to share a few things that we've been talking about, really centered on gratitude. I think we're all really grateful to for a lot of things in our lives. Oh, we have some people here. So we have Richie's here. Richie's a good friend from Sedona that we both got to know. Both Kathy and I were in Sedona with Kevin Lewis and Jeffrey Peck and Debbie Hedberg at the Sedona event, as well as for the Reiki training. And our good friend Kindy is here. She's listening in her car. She had told me she couldn't listen because she's taking her dog for grooming today. So, and Kathy's here, our good friend Kathy. Hi, Kathy. A little envious of you out there on the West Coast. It's probably nice weather. It's kind of gray and cloudy here in Philadelphia. And we have Jade says, hi, Tom and Kathy. It's Christine. Oh, Christine, how are you?
Hi. Good, good. So good to see you. Yeah, it's also rainy and definitely November skies here in Ohio. So,
Yeah, it's something I am envious. I lived in California for about 10 years and I love the sunshine, the number of days it's sunny. So, but
mhm.
again, this kind of leads into what we're going to talk about, being grateful. So, um, when I moved to Philadelphia, I wasn't really that grateful. I wasn't really, I kind of missed where I had been living. I missed the sunshine. I missed a lot of things about California. But with anything, I think when you sit back and you just try to get present and look around and start seeing things in a different way, you really start realizing you have a lot more to be grateful for than you think. Just Kathy and I being friends, we found kind of met each other through some mediumship classes that we were taking, and it sort of led into. We ended up going to Sedona, and it's continued into a friendship. So, in fact, today before the show, I was going to call her to see if she had a couple questions before we got on, and she literally texted me at the exact moment. So, those kind of synchronicities, I don't believe in coincidences. So, those kind of things kind of manifest themselves. Um, so, yeah, so we just wanted to talk about some things in gratitude. And what we want to do is anybody's listening, if they want to share anything about in their life that they've experienced gratitude or being grateful for things, please share those in the comments. But Kathy, and also I want to introduce myself. So I'm Tom, and my website is Tom at time to transcend.com. And I'm a Reiki master, and I do mediumship and spirit mediumship readings as well as psychic readings. And I practice Reiki at a studio in Philadelphia as well. So, and Kathy, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I again met Tom through some medium classes. I've taken classes off and on throughout the years, but just within the last couple of years, I've really focused on bringing my skills and my talents with intuitiveness. I also sometimes we'll see prophetic dreams. But the mediumship really has kind of rung a bell with me. It's fun to do. I would have never been, even a year ago, thought I would be led to do mediumship work. But it has brought me a lot of joy and peace. And I think I can bring those messages from spirit to loved ones here still in this realm, and be of that service. So I'm happy to do this. And when Tom and I were talking about doing something together, um, very grateful that this year, and of course this time with Thanksgiving for us here in the Americas, coming to into everybody's awareness and forethought. Um, Gratitude is something that we feel like we're obliged to acknowledge this time of year. And so expressing and accepting gratitude was kind of the theme that we wanted to put out through this show. Um, and gratitude is something you can force it. You can say, "Oh, I'm happy to be here." But if your heart's not in it, everyone will know. And worse than that, you will know. Your soul will know, and your guides will know. So, we wanted to talk a little bit about how you can accept gratitude as well as give it, but give it from a heart space where it's not forced. So, um,
Yeah, and I think it really starts from the moment when you wake up in the morning and you're doing your routine. Um, when you're confronted with, let's say, a challenge, oh, I didn't want that to happen. Um, it's how you react to it, and so that kind of sets the tone, and it goes into the idea of passing things forward. It's amazing. I always joke back when we were coming out of church as a child, and everybody would be everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone's in a really good mood, and then they get to the parking lot and everyone's like, I got to get out of the parking lot. And so it that really changes with the tone that was in, versus like, like, oh, you can go in front of me, or waving at somebody, or just paying a compliment. Because when you do that, it really matters. It really sets the tone, and your actions and your words and what you do, what you say, can carry forward. And so I think the more we can, obviously we're all human and we're not perfect, but when we can catch ourselves, instead of getting upset, maybe just, if you can't even say something, be nice, or welcome, just kind of find yourself quiet to kind of reflect, why am I going to get upset about that? Because that's going to cause more people to be and maybe not in a good place. And that one little smile, that one little hello, or you can go in front of me in the line, or you can go, at stop signs, you can go first. That is, as you know, if you experience it, it's a really positive thing. It really can help you out, help things out.
yeah, I was just going to add to that. When you put yourself in a state of kindness, being kind to others, and focus your intention on being kind, I think that helps put you in a state of gratefulness. Um, when I smile at the harried cash register person that's ringing up something, at a store that I may not be happy that I'm shopping in, but I really don't have any choice. But her reflection of that smile back, or just hello, or I hope you have a good break when it comes up. That type of communication interaction to try to put somebody out of that, oh, I got to ring this up and there's 5 people in line and I'm not going to get to break on time. Anything you can do to relieve that thought and bring them into the, yes, this is a person here that, with my own acknowledgement of, hey, I see you and I'm glad you're ringing my groceries up for me. And just that type of thing. to be grateful for that experience, for that kindness that you can show to them.
Yeah. I was just going to welcome Judy has joined our group, and Richie made a really good comment about loving synchronicity. So they
Yeah.
are. It's really amazing how things things connect. I was thinking of a story actually that happened. This was when I was in, let's see, it was in Thailand. I think it was in Bangkok, and we were out at a restaurant. And and the general atmosphere is pretty calm. People are pretty, keep to themselves. And but there was this one table in the restaurant that were just so loud. I mean, even we were like, this is unusual. And it was a large group of people, and they were eating and just talking, whatever. Well, when we turned around, they were gone, and they had left the table a complete mess. It was just unbelievable what they left. And I think it was the kind of restaurant where you're sort of supposed to tidy up a little bit for yourself. Well, I saw the waiter coming up to the table, and I saw him get angry. So what I was seeing was what I perceived, at least, is a, a Buddhist a Buddhism in action, I guess you'd say, was that he walked up and I could see him getting upset, and then all of a sudden he just went, calmed himself down, and he went about his job. Because by getting upset, then the action of that table is going to upset him. Then he's going to slam the dishes in the thing, go into the kitchen and cause some. He was able to calm. I was so impressed at that moment. I'm so glad that I was able to observe that. That was huge. And I'm still can't. That was over 10 years ago. I'll never forget that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, yeah, I think that's a perfect example of he took a ugly situation as he was perceiving it, and he was able to flip his mindset and say, okay, I'm grateful for the job, you know, or I'm not going to let this activity affect how I treat my other customers. I'm still going to shake it off, so to speak, and go on and be pleasant for the rest of the day. And I also think those are lessons that our guides and spirit put in front of us as kind of like a little challenge. How are you going to react to this? And how is that reaction going to make you feel? And how is it going to affect your future interactions with others? So when you flip the switch on how you think about things and how you see things, it really does help put you in that state of gratefulness and that state of grace.
and actually, I think, Kathy, when we were talking about this show, one of the things was how we got here in this work. And I'm very grateful for where I am in my life and how a lot of the work with spirit has come to me. I wasn't quite sure what was happening when it all started, but at this point, I'm just beyond grateful. And then I often think about my work that I was in before, if I would have been able to have kind of the way I handle things now back then, but life's a journey. So I am grateful for what I have. And I think both Kathy and I have similar experiences, but a little bit different. My whole entering into this kind of work, it wasn't like something that I had growing up. I know as a child, I was always considered very sensitive. My mom would say, "You're so sensitive. Why are you getting so upset about everything? You're never going to have an animal because you can't handle it." So, but that was the way she responded to it at that point. So I always knew that. I always knew I was intuitive. I would get ideas before they were supposed to happen, or I would have dreams when somebody passed, but I never connected the dots. So for me, basically all this started about 2 years ago. And again, it was pretty scary when it started, hearing things, getting messages, premonitions, all that kind of stuff. But as it's developed now, I'm beyond grateful to be where I'm at. Kathy, your story is a little different, in that you have more history than I did.
Yeah, I come from a long line of female on my mother's side. So it was kind of um, when we had the party line system, so the telephone would ring and all of that. But we always knew before we picked up the phone, okay, my sister's going to be on the other end, or this is a phone call that I need to get because it's from a doctor or something. um, I was the only one in my family that we would sit down to watch a movie, and I would automatically get handed a Kleenex because it was like, oh my God, Kathy's going to be bawling again. I had some strong empathic tendencies that even my mother, who was psychic, was like, oh my God, but so yeah, so my experience, it was just kind of accepted in our family that when somebody had a premonition or a vision or an inkling, um, and a perfect example, when I was in my mid 20s, I had what I call a lucid dream, or where your eyes are open but you still see the dream transpire. I saw our family home on fire, and of course, it shook me up. I was married at the time, living away from home, and I called my mother and I said, this happened. I saw this. Well, almost 3 months to the day, my sister came home. She was still in school, and she's going to hate me for telling this story. But she wanted some French fries, so she put some oil on at the stove. And mom they forgot they had to run in town before the store closed to pick up something. So Brenda ran outside, left the pan of grease on the stove. Part of my vision was that there was someone in the house that had to get carried out and taken to the hospital and probably wasn't going to live. My mother, before she left, she turned to my brother and she goes, "You go down to the neighbors with your father." And so they left. So at the time the fire transpired at the house, nobody was in it. So, but to walk into that house and see the flames around the ceiling, the char marks and stuff. Um, so that experience was kind of common, even though that was a tragic experience. Um, that was kind of embraced among how I grew up. So to me, this is just an extension. My grandmother would always say she never knew if this was a blessing or a curse, but I'm taking it as a blessing and very grateful that I have now enhanced my skills and kind of focused them in different areas. I may focus them in on, more healing or doing different types of modalities with this gift as it grows. Um, but yeah, it's once you accept it and embrace it, again, you can be grateful and look at it through grateful eyes. But one of the things that's been hard for me, um, especially when you're first awakened to this type of work, is you do give a lot. You are called to be in service, and but you forget you need to accept other people's kindness, and be grateful for that also. So
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think us just coming together is is incredible. And Richie here writes, is I thought that synchronicity was something you experience when you're in love with your partner, but experiencing with a bunch of strangers at that time really opened my eyes to what that means. And I don't know, Richie, if you're referencing our, I can sure that's happened to you many times, but for you and for Kathy together, we all had that experience in Sedona and some of these places we go to when you walk in and a lot of this work you can't talk to everybody about it. You can't really mention it. And then when you find or any kind of work, if you're, let's say you're in sports and you're in a group of people that don't enjoy sports, but when you walk into that group, oh yeah, you do this or you did that, or wow, that's great. when Kathy and I went to when we met in Phoenix, right? It was at the airport.
Yeah.
We got into the train. Yeah, we got into the train and we literally stood next to each other for the first time where we could actually look at each other and talk. And it was like immediately we were talking about, I don't know what the topic was, but it was like, oh yeah, I was getting a message from my guide yesterday, or and then what did you say, Kathy? You went, you said, uh,
I can't remember.
you said, no, you said, you were like, oh my God, it feels so good. We can talk. We're allowed to talk. We're allowed to talk about this because,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think it was almost like our guides and our higher selves, or whatever you want to call it, were like giving each other high fives. It's like, wow, we don't have to be across this distance, but there's a connect. And I want to say this morning, I was in a show in the chat, and they were talking about Hawaii, and I have never been there, but the immediate image, and the image was from Richie. Thank you very much. Of the calmness and the waves and the beauty of Hawaii. But I felt it through Richie. So there was a reason and a purpose that we were both in that chat room at the same time. And just acknowledging those type of synchronicities, it's like, wow, I really was grateful for that feeling. And there was a reason I needed to feel that today. So, yeah, the synchronicities are just, when you really stop and think about it, it kind of blows your mind.
Richie was talking about Sedona, and if anybody hasn't met Richie, you can meet Richie on his channel. But what an incredible energy! We also have another friend from Sedona. Michelle's here,
Michelle.
and got to see her in another class we were taking recently. It's amazing how we're all kind of connected. Carol is here. Hi, Carol. And she's saying hi to everyone. And what's so nice about this community is it's really, Ron's wife. Sorry, yeah, we referred to Michelle as Ron's wife. Ron and Michelle were both
Yeah.
both in Sedona. But I just feel so grateful. Like I wanted to also share this too for those who've been involved in this kind of work, or at least been interested in it for all these years. Is that, back in the day, you had to go to the bookstore and you'd go maybe to the esoterica section, and you'd have to go maybe one shelf of books or a small section. I used to go there and just sit there and look at all the books and see which book I was going to buy, and then I would go home and read it. And it was interesting, and I still have all those books and I still look at them. But for me, when a lot of things were happening to me, I was able to get on YouTube. Actually, it was the first time I went on YouTube. I just went Psychics 2024, and all of a sudden, all the people we know in the community showed up. And that's really how I started getting aware of things. And that's the things that I started connecting. Like, oh, I read that in a book. But what I'm getting at is that we're in such a high speed of knowledge. Everything we're learning so quickly. And now with ChatGPT and these other AI, it's just incredible. Just for this show, for example, was the first time I did this. How do you do comments on StreamYard? Boom, I found out about it. Like, it's amazing how quickly you can find out information. But having this community is just unbelievable. And the people that we're all involved with, they really bring a lot of connection to me, and also some validation too, because you're always, well, is that really happening? Oh yeah, that happened to me.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying hi in the chat. It's great. It's so nice to see everybody here. Thanks for coming on. This is our first really first show together. I've done some shorts on my channel that I post. I do journaling every day. I get messages from my guides. I write them in a journal, and then I summarize it and post it on my channel. So that's what I've been doing, and I've done a few other things. I was on Terry at Holding Your Spaces channel, but this is our first time doing this, and so we just wanted to chat today, and we hope to come on again and do some readings and other little projects. Talk about some of the things that we've encountered that are pretty amazing. But this is just a beginning. So it's so nice to have people here joining us. Oh yeah, and Carol made a comment. I'll just say before you go on, Kathy, this community has been a godsend. I can't imagine my life without everyone. I totally agree, Carol.
Yes.
You know, and then going to these events, like I went to Mel's event in Chicago. I met everyone there, Kevin Chandler, Kevin Lewis, Linda G, Kim Copeland. I met and then I went to the Sedona event and met Kevin and Debbie and Jeffrey, and it's just on and on and on. And then it builds from there. So you meet all these people and you realize you have so many people to tap into for things. But go ahead, Kathy, I interrupted.
Well, yes. And first off, I grew up in a small town, so we didn't really have a bookstore. If you went to the library and asked for the esoterical section, it had maybe 4 different Bibles from different ethnic groups or something. So I'm always amazed that, people are put in your place for a reason, to continue your lesson. You're kind of like driven. But one thing that my guides will be upset with me as we're talking about this state of gratefulness, we need to learn, and this was something that they shared with me that made a lot of sense, and I never thought about it in this aspect before, was balance. In all things, there must be balance. So as you give of yourself through whatever service, a smile, a wink, a session, or however you are doing that, when you're giving of yourself, you're in this flow state of grace, which is a higher vibration. But as you're doing this giving, you also must put yourself in a state of receiving gratefulness. So, and a lot of people, we're all givers in this community. We're all light warriors, breeze warriors, whatever you want to call yourself. But the image they gave me is you will receive true grace or completely be in the flow when you learn to accept gratefulness and not resist that acceptance. How many times do you like go to hand somebody a tip and they're like, oh, that's too much? And you're like, no, well, okay, that is too much, but it makes me happy to do this. That wasn't a good example, but I think you guys get where I'm going. So one of the images they gave me was 2 jars, and one was for the giving and one was for the receiving. And they showed me a bag of beans, and they said, every time you give of yourself, or you are being in that mode, put a bean in the jar. And every time you are accepting gratefulness from others, put a bean in the other jar. So you're accepting as well as receiving. And those should balance out. And they want us to focus on the energy of accepting as well as the energy of giving, and to bring those into balance for yourself. And that will put you in an even greater state of grace, where the ebb and flow of the universe will put you in an even higher vibration vibrational state. And we all know what that is. You get into that higher vibrational state. I can't drive when I'm in that state because I'm just like, oh, yeah, oh, sorry, there was a stop sign. I just went through. Oops. So I have learned that about myself. It's like when I am in that high vibe mode, it's like I need a lot of helpers around me because I'm going to ignore
But
anything that's pertinent in this 3D world.
but you know what's funny when you're driving? For me, it kind of puts you in a zone. And I've
Mhm.
gotten downloads, like a lot of messages uh, from my guides or whoever that I'm connecting with, because you're in that zone. But it isn't the best time to do that. So it's not recommended to do that while you're driving. I wanted to just I was just looking back at the message that I got from my team yesterday. Yeah. It says, do not get wrapped up in what others think you should be doing or being uh, concerned about tradition or seasonal constructs. These these can be good if they come from the heart, but can also be constrictive constructs that distract you from what you really should be doing. And I say that in the best way, because we have a lot of, the holidays are coming up, and for many people it's a joyous time, but for a lot of people it isn't. And I also think for a lot of people that they could actually enjoy it, but they're so concerned about what they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to do this, and it really shouldn't be that. In my opinion, my humble opinion, it should be about experiencing togetherness and being grateful being together. It's not about one upmanship. Who's got the best present? Why didn't you get me a present, or all that that doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's really the message, and I'm not trying to like preach about this, but I think it's important to just, sit back and say, I'm going to enjoy this the next few weeks. And also in what you're doing, enjoy things a lot better than trying to do things as you think somebody else wants you to do them. I mean, we've all lived our lives like that for many years. At least I have. And being free from that kind of control is amazing. Really frees you up.
Well, and again, to piggyback on what you're saying, Tom, now that when we have ourselves in a state of grace, or when we're in that, we can easily flip the switch. I use that a lot, that term a lot, but if you come at it from another angle, it's like, oh my gosh, I've taking these mashed potatoes to this, because that's what I do and everybody expects me to do it. Well, if you flip the switch and like, wow, I'm doing this out of an offering, of love, and when somebody grumbles that they're too salty or something like that, I'm going to take that as a uh, I just lost my train of thought, but to look at it as in a different way, of okay, maybe this person has to grumble about something to make them visible at our gathering. So it's not so much that they're upset with what you did or how you prepared something. It's what was in them that had to make a negative comment, and how can I talk with them or understand them a little bit better. And I think coming at just events like that, when you're harried and you're stressed, and yeah, you've got to run here and run there, and you're on a timetable, to be able to step back and take that breath and say, okay, if my kids don't have the perfect outfit on, I'm not going to stress about it, because that's not really that's not why we're going here.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I hope you can kind of get where I was going with that. It is a difficult time of the year.
It is. And so just sitting back and finding that little bit moment. But we got a good comment here about, being a mom and having all these responsibilities. You know, moms want to have a a good time too. Um, um, Richie wrote a great comment. Says Kevin Lewis once told me other people's opinions of me is none of my business. That's for them to own, not me.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we got Michelle said, or Ron's wife said. I love that, Richie. Going to pass that on to Ron. Um, yeah, it's hard when when you've been with a group of people and you don't have that connection. It's important, but yeah, you really, I think, just you know take some time. And we had another good comment here about um, let's see, where's this at? There's a comment here. Um, oh, ground a bit more when you are experiencing, and it'll actually help you be more clear. So it's just as simple as just stepping away from the situation, and maybe not even physically, but just breathing and just kind of regathering your thoughts and saying, okay, why am I getting upset about this? And realize, wait, you don't need to. Um, and so that's important.
Mhm.
Kathy and I told each other that we weren't going to go more than like 30, 35 minutes, because neither of us like to watch long shows. Um, so, Kathy, if you want to have anything else to say, then we'll kind of wind things up, I think.
Well, I was fortunate enough. My very first retreat was in Utah with Debbie and Kim Carey, and I did get Kim Carey's prayer cards. And I don't know anybody else in this community that does more beautiful prayers than Kim from Intuitive View. But I was going through the cards, putting them back in order because I'd used them for something else, and this card kind of popped out at me, and 1111, 11 is my number, but the card says gratitude. And let me read the prayer. And this is my intention, not only for me, but for everybody I come in contact with. And it says, today, my prayer of intention is to have gratitude for all things, people, places, and circumstance that may cross my path. May I have gratitude for my own life, for spirit, and for life itself. And I'm going to add to that prayer that may I bring gratitude in balance so that I can accept and receive gratitude in equal measures.
I want to just add this. I have these golden mantra cards, and when I'm doing a like a session with somebody, I'll pull a card just to kind of end the session with. And the card that I pulled is let's see if I get it on the screen here. I'm breaking the generational patterns that once held my lineage behind. And as we go into this time of the year, I think there's a lot of good things we have in our families, but maybe there's some things that aren't the best, and so it's important that we emphasize the good things and kind of put to bed some of the things that haven't been working as best we can through our example. Um, but this has been great. So we managed to get through the first show, Kathy. Uh, and like I said, we'll be coming back with more shows. We'd like to do some show where we get mediumship questions and connect to spirit, as well as psychic questions, and open it up to others and anybody in the community that's in our group. It's so great to have you guys supporting us today. We were both a little bit nervous about coming in, but like getting comments like congrats, and there was another comment up here. Um, you guys are doing great. So it's just great to see these and having everybody here. But
And
go
if you have any suggestions on topics or things that you would like Tom and I to bring to the forefront and have a chat like this with the community or anybody else, please let us know because um, it's a lot easier when you just talk about something like this. It's that shared shared experience and shared aha moments that bring us even more comfortable or more bring us more together. So
And I'll just leave it the one more thing is that I really like down to earth conversations. And, you know, everyone keeps talking about this awakening, everything's awakening, people are being connected. And I feel like for me, I'm like, you know, Joe Blow that just sort of like happened to. And I think that's where we really need to talk more about is those individual experiences, because I'll leave everyone with this. There's going to be a lot of people going through this. Anybody in the community knows this, and they're not going to be able to go to their regular people to talk to. And so if there's more of us that have been going through it, so it's like trying to take beginning violin lessons off a virtuoso. It's a lot easier to take it off somebody who maybe has learned recently. That's how my teaching now experience. But yeah, so what if you can help people out and set that example? And again, this has been great. And yeah, send us any comments or thoughts of what we could talk about, and we'll be on again. So thanks everyone.
thanks everyone. Much love.
Take care.